stages of mourning that people go through.
He couldn't talk about it, and he didn't want her to talk about it. He didn't want to see her cry. He wanted her not to cry. I think it was terribly difficult for her at that time that she was married to somebody who couldn't express himself emotionally.
And even now, in this time of grief, the curse of fame intruded.
Within hours of finding the baby's body, sightseers started to arrive. I mean, they actually had hot dog vendors and people selling cotton candy. It was a circus on this road.
A lot of people were going. We lived in the Bronx, and it was doable. So we went for a Sunday drive. Oh, let's go see the Lindbergh estate. Let's go see where this occurred. My mother was holding us by the hand, you know. It was hordes of people, hordes of people.
With a heartbroken nation pushing newspaper sales through the roof, one photographer in pursuit of an exclusive earned the label gutter press.
The thing that utterly devastated Charles Lindbergh was before the remains of his baby's body could be incinerated, a photographer broke into the morgue in Trenton and snapped a picture of his dead baby.
This was being sold within hours on the street of Trenton. You could buy it for $5, this picture. Even Lindbergh couldn't save his child's body from becoming an object of public curiosity. This was like the final violation.
The photograph of the dead baby was deeply shocking. So many people had hoped that everything would turn out all right.
The impact affected everybody who had young children. There wasn't anybody who didn't once in a while quiver and go into the room and make sure and pull the covers up and say, "You're very precious."
I have a lot of thoughts about it, a lot of memories. It was a big event in life, in more ways than one. You think of a family losing a child, and other people trying to find it, and finally find him dead.
Sometime later, Congress passed the Federal Kidnapping Act. It would come to be called the Lindbergh Law. It makes kidnapping a federal crime the moment the kidnapper crosses a state line. We'll be right back.
Oh, that's the, Okay, so people don't always see eye to eye, but there's still one thing everybody can agree on. The Toyota Camry, a Consumer's Digest Best Buy and the #1 selling car in America 2 years in a row.
Tell me, sweetie, do you enjoy sleeping on the couch?
When I was fat, I was in this shell. I never wanted to go anywhere. I don't need to hide myself anymore. I lost over 50 pounds with the Slim Fast plan. I've kept it off for 5 years. I'm so full of life. I love to work out, and I drink a shake every day. Delicious. I will never go back.
23 vitamins and minerals, protein, calcium, fiber, all the balanced nutrition like a healthy meal.
I feel so good. Gosh, it's phenomenal.
Slim Fast every day. Balanced nutrition for a healthy life.
I love who I am now.
You recognize this? Sure you do. It's $1. You want to know why George Washington looks so ticked off? It's because he remembers when a buck was worth something. Nowadays, you're lucky if you can buy a pair of used socks at a garage sale for under $1. Well, cheer up, Georgie boy. At least you can get all your long-distance calls for only 99 cents.
That's right. Just dial 1010-220, and all calls up to 20 minutes are only 99 cents. And just 9 cents a minute after that. No fees, no switching. So if you want to talk up to 20 minutes for only 99 cents, just dial 1010-220 first.
The other day, I'm driving down Broadway when that pastrami on ride catches up with me. Heartburn big time. My passenger says, "Here, take a Zantac 75. I say, "What are you, a doctor?" And he says, "Yeah."
The medicine in Zantac 75 is the #1 doctor-prescribed acid reducer. It relieves even your toughest heartburn, controlling acid for up to 12 hours.
A real gentleman, that doctor.
Zantac 75 for tough heartburn. Doctors know.
Hey, can't you just throw those in the dryer?
You can if your dryer's not broken. again.
Well, now's the time to replace old appliances. Sears has the top 6 brand names on sale.
Tough names, huh?
Yeah, like Kenmore. A washer-dryer pair is $120 off, while a refrigerator's just $499.99.
I'm impressed.
Hey, there's more. Buy any appliance over $399 and choose 0% finance charge till January 2000 with your Sears card, or choose free delivery instead. Well,
I can hang this up.
better hurry. Sale ends July 14th.
On Nightline, there are people in Kosovo who are trying to stop the cycle of violence.
Wisconsin fans, some of the most devoted fans in the world. But what do they do in the off-season? They watch golf. The Greater Milwaukee Open, Saturday at 1:30 on ABC.
Friday, see what your eyes can't. A camera that really shows you what the sun's done to your skin.
That camera will show you how the person would look maybe 20, 30 years later.
She dared to look.
Oh, scary. I'm going to cry.
How can you protect yourself? On 2020, Friday at 10, 9 Central.
4 words. Me, of course, yes. Yeah. Okay, chickens are coming to... No, Dharma and Greg are changing times on ABC. Oh, okay, I'm close. Good. Dharma and Greg are moving to Tuesday, July 20th.
Yes, you got it. Dharma and Greg moves to Tuesdays, 9, 8 Central, starting July 20th on ABC.
Here's my idea. Make my boys the Best Buy boys because they've grown up on Best Buy. When he wakes up, do I get computer time? It's amazing what they're learning. They're glued to the computer. They love to watch themselves on TV. They just are fascinated by anything that has a button on it or a dial. Technology is really a part of our daily lives.
Bringing technology home, one family at a time. Best Buy.
Now that's a great idea.
ABC News, Vanished, Stolen in the Night continues.
Instead of serenity, Highfields had brought them only sorrow. They could never live there now. And so the Lindberghs gave the house to the state as a home for wayward boys. We're starting all over again. No hopes, no ties, no plans, Anne wrote. But then their second son, John, was born, renewing life. They even began to fly again, exploring Europe and Africa. 2 years passed, and then one day the police called.
We have in custody the man who received the ransom money. His name is Bernard Richard Hauptmann.
Bruno Hauptmann was a German immigrant, a carpenter living in New York City. After he bought gas with bills bearing the same serial numbers as the Lindbergh ransom money, police searched his home. There they found another $14,600 from the ransom.
A placid town, an old-fashioned courthouse, turns into a bedlam carnival. Bruno Hauptmann is coming to trial in the little courtroom at Flemington, New Jersey.
The population, I think, was slightly over 2,000, and I think there were 60,000 people there on the first Sunday and carried in 20,000 cars. I mean, it was the place to be. Actors, comedians, writers, art photographers.
Main Street was packed. People were standing all over the place. Some of them was trying to climb through the windows, and they were selling ladders, and that was $1, a small ladder.
The journalist H.L. Mencken declared it the biggest story since the resurrection, and there wasn't a reporter in the country who didn't want to be there.
This was something more than a story for me. It was a human experience. It was the biggest murder case that I'd ever covered.
They called it the trial of the century. It lasted 6 weeks. Anne showed up once to testify. Lindbergh didn't miss a day.
This was a detective story of the first nature. A lovely couple, an innocent child, a heinous crime, and ultimately an accused who was almost aloof and defiant in standing behind his innocence.
When he started to walk, I was on my guard, and I watched his feet more than anything else. He could never meet my eyes. Never made eye contact.
He seemed to be frightened, completely frightened, all the time he was in the court. But he affected an air of indifference.
Mr. Hauptmann and Mr. Lindbergh were about 20 feet apart. There was
an absolute stone face on both of them. Absolute no emotion on either one of them.
The prosecution was led by New Jersey's Attorney General, David Wilentz, a man with political clout and ambitions.